A very good morning, students. This is your English teacher Benu Sehrawat, and I welcome you all to RKP online classes. Now, we'll continue with the same topic, that is determiners, right? And in our last video, we were talking about quantifiers, and we have discussed many quantifiers, right? So now today we are going to talk about very important quantifiers, three quantifiers together: little, a little and the little. Okay, little, a little and the little. Okay, so first thing about their use is that they are always used with uncountable nouns. Okay, singular uncountable nouns. So they are always used with singular uncountable nouns. All right. So they are used with singular uncountable nouns. Now let's come to little now. Little means hardly any. Okay, hardly any. Hardly any. Alright, and you have to remember this thing, that little is used with in negative sense. Okay, it is used in negative sense. Used in negative sense. It is used in negative sense. So basically, when we use little, that means the quantity is not at all enough. Okay, it is not enough, right? And absolutely, I have already written here, there is hardly any. Okay, and that is the reason it is used in the negative sense, right? Now coming to little, a little is a little more than this category. Okay, now we can say some, though, not much. Okay, when we use a little, that means there is some amount of that particular noun, but actually not much, right? But there is something and which is extra than little. Okay, and that is the reason it is used in positive sense. Okay, used in positive sense. Okay, now the little means beta whatever is available there. Okay, I mean the whole quantity of that particular thing. Okay, so the little is whatever is there. Whatever is there. Now I have already told you about little, a little and the little, but now of course without looking at the examples, it is very difficult to understand a concept. So here I come up with a few sentences, right, with the help of which we will try and understand how actually we use little, a little and the little in the sentences. Now there is little hope of his recovery. Okay, now there is, of course, there is somebody whose situation is critical, right, who is serious right now. So, and the doctor says that there is little hope of his recovery. Now beta, I have already told you, whenever we use little, it gives a negative sense. right? It gives a negative sense. So here if we have used there is little hope of his recovery, that means he will not be able to recover. There are chances that he will die, right? So that means little has a negative meaning, negative sense, right? Now he showed little concern for his nephew. Now he showed little concern. That means he was not at all concerned about his nephew, right? He was not concerned about his safety. Okay, so now because we have used little here, it gives a negative sense, right? And that means no concern. Actually, no concern, right? Little concern means no concern, right? Now there is a little hope of his recovery. I have intentionally used the same sentence so that we can understand the difference, right? Now there is a little hope of his recovery. Now since we have used a little here, it gives us a positive sense, right? And it is a good news that he may recover soon, right? Of course, because here it's very clear that the person will not be able to recover, right? And here because we have used a little, it shows that he will be better, right? Now we have a little water left in the jar. Now beta, a little means some water is there. Of course that is not enough, but some water is there, right? And it gives us a positive sense that there is some water. Maybe one person can drink it, but of course not 3 or 4, right? Okay, now Harry has a little information about the man who stole his money. Okay, now Harry has a little information. Now Harry is a boy and somebody stole his money, right? Now he has some information about that person, right? Like the name or his age or how he actually looks like. Okay, so this basic information he knows, right? But that is why it has been used a little. That means he has some information with him. Okay, now see the next sentence beta, and it is connected to the previous one only. Now of course he has a little information, right? But the little information that Harry has is not enough. Okay, now when he goes to the police, the officer there, after listening to Harry, he says, see, of course you have some details about him, but on the basis of these details we'll not be able to catch him. Okay, on the basis of these details, right? So the little information has been used for whatever information he had about that person. Okay, so basically the little is used for whatever we have with us, whatever is available, right? So the little, okay, the little milk that we had has been consumed by the kitten. Now my friends and I, we are planning to have tea, right? We are planning to have tea now, but when I asked my friend to make tea, right, now she said the little milk that we had has been consumed by the kitten. She has a pet, a kitten in her house, right? And now the problem is whatever quantity of milk she had in her house, now that has been consumed by the kitten. Okay, now I hope you have understood. The little milk, that means whatever quantity of milk was available, that is the little milk, right? So I hope you have understood the use of little, a little and the little. And now we'll talk about few, a few and the few. Alright? Few, a few and the few. Now beta, I would like to tell you that few, a few and the few is, we can say it is used in quite a similar way as we use little, a little and the little. Okay, the only difference here is that few, a few and the few is used with plural countable nouns. Okay, it is used with plural countable nouns, right? Whereas little, a little and the little is used with singular uncountable nouns. Okay, so I can very clearly say this thing, that this is the only difference between little, a little, the little and few, a few, the few, right? This is the only difference. Otherwise, rest all the explanation and all the rules remain the same. Okay, so let's take, alright, first let me tell you, few. When we use few, it means we are talking about the number of a noun and which is hardly any. Again, just like little, it is used in negative sense. It means hardly any, right? And a few is a little more than few. Okay, that means there is maybe 2 or 3 but not many, right? A few, and it gives positive sense like a little. Okay, and the few is like the little only. Okay, and the few we use it when we are referring to the whole whatever quantity or whatever number that we have with us, whatever is available. All right, so now let's take let's have a look at the sentences, right? And we'll try to understand how we use few, a few and the few, right? Now, few persons can keep a secret. Now, here is the quantifier, right? And few persons. So it means basically that people, you will find hardly anyone who will keep your secret to himself, right? He is maximum, in most of the cases, he is going to share it with someone. Okay, so it gives negative sense, right? Now, few men are free from faults. Now, few men are free. Of course, we are, we have a tendency to make errors, and we human beings, we have a number of flaws within us, right? So it gives a negative sense that you will find hardly a man who is free from faults, right? So again, it gives a negative sense, right? And better please keep this thing in mind. Here we have plural countable nouns. As I told you, few, a few and the few, they are always used with plural countable nouns. Now next is, I read a few books last month. Okay, now a few, we have used a few in the sentence. That means it gives a positive sense, and it means I have read a few books. That means I have read some books, not many, but I have read a few books, some books, right? Now, a few participants were really good. Now we went to see, there was a competition, and we saw all the performances, right? And we found that a few participants were really good. I mean, again here, not many participants were good, right? Not many participants, but of course there were a few, there were some 4-5 participants who were really good. I read the few books I had. Now, here I said I read a few books. That means I read some books. I read the few books. That means I have read all the books that I had with me at my home. Okay, I had 8 books in total. So if I say I read the few books I had, that means I read all those 8 books. Okay. Now, the few participants who performed well were awarded with cash prize. Now, I have already told you a few participants were really good. Now, I am telling you the few participants. Okay. So, the few participants means the participants I was talking about. Suppose here I was talking about 5 participants. Okay. So now if I say the few participants who performed well, that means the few is 5. Whatever number was there. Okay. So the few participants who performed well were awarded with cash prize. So I hope you have understood this thing, right? And the use of little, a little, the little, few, a few, and the few. If you have any doubt, do not hesitate to ask me. Alright, thank you so much.